They slid a foreclosure notice under my door over a $600 fine. No warning, no court order, no hearing. Just a thin envelope that said my home could be taken. I stood there reading it twice because it made no sense. $600, not $6,000. Not unpaid mortgage, not years of neglect. A fine. This came from the HOA and from Karen. Karen wasn't a neighbor. She didn't live on my street. She was the HOA board member who ran enforcement like a personal crusade. Clipboards, emails in all caps. That tone that assumes guilt before facts. The letter claimed I had ignored repeated violations and failed to pay. It said the HOA had the right to escalate and protect the community. It ended with foreclosure language that felt designed to scare, not inform. I hadn't ignored anything. I had disputed the fine. I had asked for proof. I had asked for a hearing. I had asked for the state statute that allowed foreclosure for a fine that small. None of that mattered. The fine itself was already shaky. A violation that appeared out of nowhere. A measurement that changed depending on who asked. And the timing was too perfect. I had questioned Karen publicly at the last meeting about selective enforcement. This letter wasn't about rules. It was about targeting. I didn't panic. Not yet. I did what a reasonable homeowner does. I pulled the HOA bylaws. I pulled the state law. And that's when something clicked. The state law was clear. Fines under a certain amount could not trigger foreclosure. Period. Karen either didn't know that, or she knew and didn't care. And that was when I realized this wasn't a mistake. It was a test. I emailed the HOA the same day. Calm, polite, direct. I asked for the legal basis for foreclosure over a $600 fine. I cited the state statute. I requested a hearing as required by the bylaws. Karen replied within an hour. She ignored the law completely. Instead, she thanked me for bringing the matter to our attention and reminded me that fines accrue daily. She attached photos of my supposed violation, photos taken from angles that made normal wear look dramatic. Shadows, close-ups, cropped images. She ended by saying foreclosure was one of several options if I continued to be non-compliant. Karen abuses power by threatening my home. I respond reasonably with the law. Karen sidesteps and doubles down. I replied again. Same tone. I pointed out the photos didn't match the written violation. I asked why the daily fines were still accruing during a dispute, which the bylaws forbid. Her response came the next morning. She added a new violation, something unrelated, something vague, something that couldn't be measured easily. And suddenly the fine total was higher, not because of time, because of creativity. She changed the rules midstream. Then came the public shaming. A community-wide email went out listing delinquent properties. Mine was highlighted. No explanation, no context, just a number and a warning about community standards. Neighbors started looking at me differently. One asked if I was moving. Another asked if I was okay. I forwarded the email to Karen and asked why I was listed while a dispute was active. Her reply was short. It's automated. That was the lie. I requested the hearing again. This time I sent it certified. I followed the bylaws line by line. A week passed. Nothing. Then another letter arrived. This one thicker. More legal language. More threats. Still no hearing. Still no response to the statute. But then suddenly a calm. Karen emailed saying the HOA was willing to work with me if I paid the fine immediately. She said foreclosure would be paused, not withdrawn, not corrected, paused. This was the false calm. The moment designed to make me comply out of fear. I didn't pay. I asked for the hearing. And that's when Karen stopped pretending. The next violation notice came with photos taken inside my fence line. Photos that could only have been taken by stepping onto my property. That crossed a line. I emailed the board directly. Not just Karen. I attached the statute. I attached the bylaws. I attached the photos and asked who authorized trespassing. Karen replied to everyone. She said I was being aggressive. She said I was misinterpreting the law. She said the HOA had broad authority and that my tone was concerning. Then she did something reckless. She threatened immediate foreclosure again. This time she quoted a section of law that didn't apply. Wrong state, wrong context, copied and pasted. That's when neighbors started talking. One emailed me privately, then another, then another. Same pattern, small fines, disputes ignored, threats escalated. Karen's name on every email. Someone shared screenshots from years back. Karen had tried this before. It never went to court. People paid because they were scared. We demanded a special meeting. Karen showed up defensive, loud. She tried to control the agenda. She cut people off. She insisted foreclosure was a tool. When someone read the actual statute out loud, she snapped. She raised her voice. She accused everyone of undermining the board. She said people like me were the reason communities fall apart. Her composure cracked. When asked why hearings were skipped, she blamed staff errors. When asked why photos were taken on private property, she said enforcement needed flexibility. She contradicted herself 3 times in 10 minutes. The room wasn't angry. It was quiet. That's worse. Karen realized she had lost control, and then she made one final mistake. She threatened foreclosure again, in front of witnesses. The board went silent. One member asked Karen to stop speaking. Another asked for legal counsel. Within days, the HOA attorney sent a letter, not to me, to the board. Foreclosure was not permitted. The fines were improperly applied. The notices were invalid. The foreclosure threat was withdrawn. But it didn't end there. A vote was called to suspend enforcement actions pending review. Karen was removed from enforcement authority, then removed from the board. Neighbors requested refunds. Some got them. The HOA updated its procedures. Hearings became mandatory. Enforcement was documented. Transparency returned. I received a letter apologizing for confusion. No fine, no foreclosure, no record. The unexpected twist came months later. Karen tried to run again. She lost in a landslide. Now the neighborhood is quiet, normal, boring in the best way. But I still think about how close it came, how easily fear is used, how many people paid because they didn't know the law. And I wonder, how many homes have been threatened illegally? How many Karens rely on silence and fear? And how many people would still be paying if no one had pushed back?